Hello my friends, it's Roger once again, and today I'm talking about Elon Musk and the spirit of exploration. Now, they just put their astronauts back into space on his equipment. This guy is, I'm going to tell you right now, as far as I'm concerned, he's the only hope for humanity right now. Now, and then I'm explaining to you why.
Oh, I'd like to just, acknowledge the incredible work of the people at SpaceX and NASA and everyone in creating this technology and in what has culminated in this incredible launch today of getting astronauts back to orbit after almost a decade. I think this is something that should really get people, right on the heart of anyone who is has any spirit of exploration. And the United States is a distillation of the human spirit of exploration. I think this is something that's particularly important in the United States, but appeals to everyone with throughout the world who has within them the spirit of exploration.
All right, now we're going to talk about the spirit of exploration and the ability to accept what that exploration produces. Okay, this is a piece I put up on Facebook, and it's about Mars has had life. And so I show, and I say this is the response to 60 Minutes special on a search for extraterrestrial life on Mars. I think they need bigger eyes to see this. And I showed all this stuff, and literally it was a disaster, because all these flat earth people come up there because they can just disregard the space station. They can disregard anything they don't want to see and just say this just doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It's all cartoons, it's all lies, it's all just fake. But guess what? The academics have the exact same mind, identical, because here's what they can just disregard. Now, the academics can disregard what I showed on Mars, too. They have, but they also disregard this, which is in North Africa. This is a giant fish. Go up on your Google Earth and look at it. Take a second here. I know this is just way too huge for literally, for the mind to just say, oh yeah, look at that gigantic fish. Well, no, that's not going to happen in a second or two. But if you look at it and you understand what scales are, and you understand what fins are, and you understand what a fish's tail is, and you understand all of this business, and then you look above it and you see there's a gigantic dragon here, and he's spitting all this stuff out to try to kill that fish, and it has invaded its vital flesh here. And then you look at this toxic, nasty stuff that came from that dragon, and that is not your average stuff. That is dragon, whatever it is. And I've seen the injectors that spit it out. I've done an autopsy on this gigantic dragon. And you go into, right here, there's injectors. There's red and green injectors. You see the red ones up here? They have red and green ones. All right? And they come right out of his throat. And that throat goes all the way down. All right, now don't shut your mind off. Look at it. Those are dragon scales. All right, I've shown this in extreme detail. There is absolutely no question whatsoever what this is. And this was known about in the past. And we are the ones that disregard reality. And an academic can look at this and say, oh, that's just hills and valleys and this and that. Well, let me tell you something. If you go to an autopsy analyst and you ask them, or a coroner, what is all this stuff? They'll say, well, that just happens after a dead, decaying body runs off and bleeds off. And guess what? That's what's happened here. And it's happened all the way down this gigantic dragon, because this is his body. These are his legs, and this is continued to his tail. And the tail way up here is still running off the dead, decaying bodily fluids and creating this runoff. Now, this, if an academic can just dismiss, no, it doesn't exist, it doesn't, and they do, absolutely do, and they have for years, and they can dismiss the fact that I have giants, and this is a giant fingertip right here. Not only is this fingertip obvious if you look at it, any anatomist can look at this and say, yeah, that's a fingertip. However, additionally, I had it DNA certified, I had it CAT scanned, I had anatomists, I had it microscopy, I can see the interstitium, I can see the grip skin, I understand this intimately, and I have the entire palm that goes with this. All of this is highly certified and documented, and not a single academic will acknowledge it. That is a flat earth mind. They have the exact identical mind as flat earthers. Now, only Elon Musk can stand above these people because they have everybody crushed under them. You cannot speak against them or you will lose your status in life. Now, Elon Musk stands above them now, and he's the only one that I see that's even possible to talk about this. I've sent all this information to NASA, to every single academic that I can find. And it's completely dismissed, rejected, denied, and ignored. So Elon Musk, my friend, I'm putting my trust in you, buddy, because you're the last hope I can see for humanity to come out of their denial of truth. And their minds are just absolutely locked. It's very distressing. I've been doing this for many years and having all this evidence for many years and just totally dismissed. So please, somebody reach out. Somebody who's in some position that is willing to stand up. That's the key. Nobody's willing to stand up because you're going to be assaulted. I can guarantee you that. Trust me, you'll be assaulted the hell out of you. And you're just going to have to stand your ground, or you're just going to have to cave in and say, oh, none of this stuff exists. I'm just going to be a PhD, perfectly happy, deluded. Or I'm going to be a flat earther and just deny that anything that's real exists. There's no rockets, there's no space, there's none of this stuff. Very distressing. I have a lot of research in this, and this is the no-toes. These are new species of humans. That is where the fibia goes, right there. The tibia is the big bone, comes straight up, and the fibia sits on the side, same as here. And this is a different, there's different styles of these no-toes. This is the one right here, this is mine here. Now, Tish Egerton has a different style. She's got, well, I don't even know if it's a different style. Hers are eroded open, and you can see inside. You see the heel bone right there? And the strap coming up? It's the same as here, the heel bone and the strap. All right? The only difference is that this has totally changed. What they have now, well, what they had then was these torsion springs where it sprung up like this and it would re-spring back down. And I looked at this very carefully. There's a lot of detail in here. There's a lot of engineering. And that's the saddle. And we have so much of this. It's overwhelming. And not a single bit of it will be allowed to be seen in academia. Very, very hard to understand if they're the ones that are literally selling what they claim to be the latest information that's been verified and checked. And, and if they won't check or look at anything that's presented that has DNA certification, CAT scans, specimens, it's quite easy to see that this is what we're dealing with. Where do you find truth? I'm just going to have to leave it at that. I'm the only place I'm going to be able to find truth I'm hoping for is Elon Musk, because everybody else is 100% crushed, and they're just looking around in circles, walking in circles, saying, oh, we're looking for this, we're hoping to find this, we're thinking this, we're thinking that. Think anything you want. Disregard reality, and you're just in nowhere land. And that's what I have found for years and years and years. So, find your own way through life. That's all I can say, because you let somebody read a book to you, good for you. Now, I talked about the runoff of a dead, decaying body, and this is what a coroner finds in a case where there's been a body that's been decomposing for just a few days it takes, because the bodily fluids will drain out, and they'll drain away from the body. And the black and the red is the signature of a vein versus artery blood. Black is a vein blood, artery is the reddish blood. And I'm so deep into this, I understand this so intimately now. And to have it denied is it's pretty hard. There's a lot of text about this dragon and the fish, and there's coins as well. I'm not sure, but this looks something like a dragon and a fish. But they knew about these things. They were written. It said, well, let me see if I can find a text. Now, don't forget, my claim is that's the giant fish, that's the giant dragon. This all drained out right across here. You see this? It all drained out into the Atlantic. All right, you see that? Obviously it drained out right there. This was obviously an ocean. And these were the Leviathan and the dragon. And this has been written about extensively. Okay, so we know about the fish, and we know about it being attacked by the dragon, and we know about the dragon running all the way across North Africa, the whole top of North Africa. And we also know about its bleeding off in the desert. And we also know that its throat was cut right here. See that? And we can see that that's where it bled out primarily, and then of course the decomposition started and everything sort of effluent runs off. But this is a cut throat. That is a gash across the throat, because that was a throat. There is no reason whatsoever for that gash to run across there and bleed out in the desert unless it was cut with a great and mighty sword. Does anybody ever say that? Okay, here it is right here. Isaiah 27:1. In that day the Lord will punish Leviathan, the fleeing serpent, with his fierce, great, and mighty sword, even Leviathan, the twisted serpent, and he will kill the dragon who lives in the sea. What can I say? These things have been written about, not just here. Every single culture talks about dragons and giants and all kinds of things that we laughed at. And they wrote about this long ago, that teachers are going to change the way you're thinking to try to make you believe that there is no God. I'm going to leave it at that. You should read all these things here. All right, I hope you can see them. They're a little, you might have to expand it a little bit, but I'm telling you right now, this is the time of my calling, that I am the one that is thought of as just really, literally despised. But I am here to nullify the things that are, because the things that are destroying the things that should be.